everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Facts. I, as always, am your host, Tyler Groff von Rebick. And you may have noticed I'm dressed a little differently today. That's because today I'm going to be talking about what is a Kentucky Colonel. I already got sugar in my coffee, so you're not going to see me put a lot of spoonfuls into it. It's good stuff. Currently drinking Folgers Colombian brew, which is really good. All right, let's jump into it, huh? Kentucky Colonel is a title of honor that's bestowed by the Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It is the highest honor that the Governor can give to a person. In today's terms, a Kentucky Colonel is the closest award that can be considered a knighthood in the United States of America. It's because America is a republic. They don't have like titles of nobility and stuff. They don't have dukes and princes. There are a lot of American citizens who have titles like that, but they're from like different countries and stuff. I mean, like, I'm like, considered like a prince in some countries. Moving on. There are over 250,000 Kentucky Colonels in the world today from over 70 countries. Ironically, 2/3 of the Kentucky Colonels in America are not actually from the state of Kentucky. But where does Kentucky Colonel come from? What makes someone eligible for the title? What benefits come with it? Let's find out. History. The first known colonel of the Kentucky Territory was the pioneer coonskin cap-wearing Daniel Boone when he was commissioned by Judge Richard Henderson to lead a trailblazing company on what would be known as the Wilderness Road in 1775. After the War of 1812 and 1813, the Kentucky State Militia was deactivated and Colonel Isaac Shelby appointed former Colonel Charles S. Todd to serve as his aide-de-camp on his staff. This is believed to be a mythological story, but it may be true. The governor would commission colonels to lead companies and to provide state's influence. These colonels were appointed as aides to the governor in these offices. In 1851, President Abraham Lincoln commissioned 1,000 civilian colonels to serve as goodwill ambassadors for the Union without any specific military duties. These men were posted in Frankfort, Lexington, and Louisville. It's Louisville. This is largely due to the fact that Kentucky was a swing state during the Civil War. These men were usually prominent officials, including lawyers, judges, professors, merchants, dock captains, and businessmen. In 1895, Governor William O'Connell Bradley commissioned the first Kentucky Colonel as an award of merit to persons for individual contributions to the state, good deeds, and noteworthy actions. Over time, the governors approved thousands of colonels, even to women, which was a big deal at the time. Governor Ruby LaFoon, that's a man. I know the name Ruby doesn't sound like a very manly name, but it is a man. Commissioned over 10,000 colonels using the commission as a political tool. The most famous of his commissioned colonels was Harlan Sanders, afterwards known as Colonel Sanders, who became the creator and the face of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Governor Happy Chandler only commissioned a dozen colonels, stating the title should only be given for exceptionally noteworthy contributions and achievements. In 2008, Governor Stephen Beshear was commissioning as many as 16,500 colonels a year. That's a lot of people. Colonels typically nominate people they feel are deserving of the award. One colonel, Russ Marlowe of Bardstown, stated he had personally nominated 500 Kentucky colonels himself, and none of those applications had been turned down. In 2016, Governor Matt Bevin instituted a process in which only colonels that were active in the Honorary Order of the Kentucky Colonels, which is the fraternal organization made up of Kentucky colonels, could nominate potential colonels. The requirement was dropped in February of 2020 by Governor Andy Beshear. Kentucky Colonel benefits. A person who receives the commission of Kentucky Colonel from the governor will receive a large certificate with their name on it and signed by the governor and Secretary of State. A Kentucky Colonel is considered a member of the governor's staff as an aide-de-camp and is entitled to have the style honorable written before them, their first name, or the abbreviation COL, Colonel. It's not the honorable, it's just honorable. Like you can't introduce yourself as the honorable such and such. It has to be introduce yourself as honorable such and such. I don't know why they don't put the honorable before it, but whatever. In conversation, they are allowed to be addressed as Colonel First Name or Colonel Last Name. A Kentucky Colonel appointment lasts a lifetime, regardless if the appointing governor leaves office. So once you become a Kentucky Colonel, you're a Kentucky Colonel forever. A Kentucky Colonel doesn't receive any special benefits beyond the title and respect it deserves. There are no stipends, no special discounts, unless like stated by other businesses. Kentucky Colonels are allowed to join the Honorable Order of Kentucky Colonels, which also sells customizable business cards, papers, clothes, pens, and other merchandise. The HOKC also donates millions of dollars to charities around the world every year. A Kentucky Colonel is prescribed to serve as a Goodwill Ambassador. They are to represent the lore, history, culture, and community spirit of Kentucky itself. And no, the string tie is not required. I know, I'm wearing a string tie right now. It's just because I absolutely love the look. I mean, I prefer the string tie as opposed to like regular ties or bow ties or whatever. I think that, and plus I come from Oklahoma, so like it's a southern thing. Kentucky Colonels have been known to wear a uniform if they desire, and while the most common uniform is one designed by the Canadian Colonel Stephen Lautens, other uniforms have been designed. Like for instance, I'm wearing my uniform I'm designing. It's not finished yet. I plan to add a few more things to it, but yeah, like I got these beautiful American flag or American crest buttons. The little golden fringe and stuff, really beautiful. This is dark blue. I went with dark blue because I know, I'm from the South. I should go with gray, Confederacy. But I think that this actually looks more decent in public, especially at like meetings and whatnot, because dark blue goes good with practically anything, and it makes things shine brighter. Put it that way. Famous colonels. There are many Kentucky colonels in the world. Yeah, 270,000 or 250,000. Besides myself. Okay. And some you may have heard of. The aforementioned KFC creator, Colonel Harlan Sanders, is also sometimes considered the face of the Kentucky Colonels. Other quite famous colonels include Jim Beam of whiskey fame and Shirley Temple from Hollywood. Some more contemporary famous Kentucky colonels include Muhammad Ali, Donald Trump, Johnny Depp, George Clooney, Jeff Foxworthy, Betty White, Bob Hope, Whoopi Goldberg, and Tiger Woods. Yeah, I actually I've noticed there's a whole list. Like if you go to like the Kentucky Colonel's website and stuff, they usually have like a whole list of people who are like really famous that get like the title of Kentucky Colonel and everything. It's really awesome. Final notes. Contrary to popular belief, Colonel Tom Parker, longtime manager of Elvis Presley, was not a Kentucky colonel, but rather a Louisiana colonel, having been awarded the title by Louisiana Governor Jimmy Davis for helping and managing his campaign. Now, Elvis himself was a Kentucky colonel. He just didn't go by colonel. Kentucky colonel is the most famous state title of honor, but it's not the only state title. Arkansas has awarded people the title of Arkansas Travelers, after a pretty famous song. Nebraska has awarded the amusingly tongue-in-cheek title Admiral, despite being a completely landlocked state. Rhode Island has awarded the title of Commodore. Texas has awarded the title of Admiral. Indiana has awarded the title of Sagamore of the Wabash. Or Sagamore of the Wabash. I don't know. Which is a work on an old Native American title of respect. North Carolina awards the Order of the Longleaf Pine. South Carolina awards the Order of the Palmetto. And Florida honors citizens as Great Floridians. I wonder how many, Florida guy, like those Florida guy articles you read have been Great Floridians. Probably none. Out of these state titles, Kentucky Colonel is considered to outrank all of them, largely due to the title also being an honorary member of the governor's staff, whereas the others are simply just honorary titles. Though not common, a Kentucky Colonel can have his award revoked by order of the governor. One such case of this was when Waldo Recker had his colonelcy revoked after it was discovered that Waldo was actually just the pet dog of a news reporter. That's just so disrespectful. Like, I mean, it's a great award and honor. And this guy wants to make a joke out of it by basically making his dog Kentucky Colonel. That's just wrong. From 1967 and 1976, a Louisville pro basketball team was known as the Kentucky Colonels. They won the most games and had the highest winning franchise of any other teams at the time. However, they didn't join the NBA and they ended up folding. Okay, it was pretty short. Talk to the scriptwriter, see if he can make it make some longer ones in the future. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you would, please like, subscribe, hit the little bell so you can be alerted to new coming videos, because we have a lot more on the way. And as always, I've been your host, Tyler Groff von Revick, or Colonel Tyler Groff von Revick, for this video. And I will see you next time.